What's up, YouTube? Your boy back once again with another sport topic, and today we're going to talk some football. Houston Texans football. But before we get into that, like I said in the last two videos, your boy's year goal for this year is trying to at least get to 4,000 subscribers. But before I get to 4,000, I got to get to 2 first. And by the time I record this video, last time I checked, it was at 1,483, which is 33 more than it was the last time I did a video. So shout out to all the new subscribers out there. Appreciate the love. Appreciate y'all subscribing. If y'all told some people and got some people on board, shout out to y'all and appreciate y'all for getting people on board and getting people subscribing to the channel. Like I say, like, share, subscribe, continue to do that, continue to talk to people and get people on the channel so I can reach to this 4,000 goal by the end of the year. But like I said, to get to 4,000, I gotta get to 2 first. So I appreciate all the love that I've been receiving in the past couple of days. Just continue to help me do that and continue to help me get out there to the 4,000 mark. Now, let's talk about the conversation, because today's conversation, I want to talk about how the Texans can fix what I feel is the biggest need for this team, which is the cornerback position. My last video I broke down, I said running back, running back, offensive line, and corner were the three biggest positions this going into the offseason that we need to fix. And I think that you're gonna fix them all through via free agency and the draft, not just one. So I want to break down each one individually, do a video on each one and explain why I feel the way I feel and what are the ways and the avenues that we can go about fixing each positions. And I want to talk about the cornerback position. Now, like I said, I feel that the cornerback position is the biggest position, and I think this position specifically is one that you are going to have to fix via free agency and the draft. And when I mean free agency, I'm not just talking about signing free agents. I'm talking about you might have to make some deals. You might have to trade some assets and try to accumulate time, because you're going to need to walk away with at least 2 new DBs. One via the draft, one via free agency. That's why I especially think you have to do. And shout out to my boy out there, Head Honcho in South Sports. I was on the show the other day, and we had this conversation breaking down, talking about my video. And shout out to the caller, Jay Dizzle, because he brought up a great point. He brought up a great point why he felt the offensive line was a bigger need, but he felt that more than likely because where we draft at, offensive linemen won't be there, at least not worth taking that high. So we probably end up taking a corner. But he felt the offensive line was a bigger need, because he felt that if you had a defensive back or corner, that doesn't change that much to him on the defense. Like when we were talking about the Colt playoff game, the last game the Texans played, they will only change possibly maybe 1 touchdown. And he was saying the offensive line, that gives the time of possession longer. It means that you're not going 3 and out so much. You're not going 3 out so much. You be able to run the clock out and keep Andrew Luck off the field and things like that. And that it holds the time of possession and holds longer drives. For the most part, I agree with him. I actually agree with what he was saying. For the most part, he made some good points. But the reason why I say for the most part, because I think that's more so in the regular season. Those first 16 games, yes, all those things probably hold up true. But not in the playoff game, because I feel the biggest issue of the game against the Colts had nothing to do with the offensive line. It was injuries, and the biggest thing that it just won Deshaun Knight, to be honest. Like, Deshaun had an off night. I mean, you just gotta be real. I mean, you gotta keep it real. Deshaun had a bad night. I don't think that was offensive line. I just think it was just a bad day at the office for him. He missed some throws. He undershot some throws. His timing was wrong. He wasn't urgent. Yeah, he didn't have the urgency, especially when the clock was dwindling down in the 4th quarter. When after they scored the touchdown, you might have had a shot, but they just let the time just tick off. Like when they got the ball with 8 minutes left, down by 2, I'm like, okay, if you score and get the ball, if you score before the 4-minute mark, and you give your defense another shot, you might be able to get the ball back with 2 minutes down by a touchdown, then you in money. But he kind of let some drink off. And I know that last play, the last 4th down that he incompleted was due to the offensive line and people getting pushed into him. But it it wasn't the offensive line's fault for the totality of the game. And the reason why I think the defense would be a bigger factor in that game, because it's not just that they got 21 points. Because 21 points is really not that big of a spread. You expect them to actually get more. It's how they got it. They just went down, straight down, went down the field, went down the field, went down the field. And remember, I know it was touchdown, interception, then touchdown. And on the interception, they drove down the field, and it just happened. JJ tipped the pass and made it, and we was able to get an interception off of it. So they forced their first 4 possessions. They drove straight down the field. It's just one of them ended in an interception, but they were still walking up and down the field. That's problematic. That's extremely problematic, especially when you're dealing with what we got to deal with in the AFC. I mean, that team is in your division. Now you got Kansas City, you got the Chargers, you got Pittsburgh, you got all these offenses. You got Baker Mayfield. We don't know what they're gonna do. And now I hear talks out of Tennessee talking about that they're probably drafting either tight end or receiver. The Colts are talking about drafting another receiver. We already have problems with Ty. You have to shore up this back end. You have to get a corner. You have to find a way to get a DB. And those things are, to me, are more important. I know protect the asset, protect Deshaun Watson. I know that's key. But like Jay Dizzle said, and I agree with this, because where we draft in this draft in the back half of the draft, we probably more than likely are going to be able to get more boom for your dollar, more boom for your buck by drafting a corner than drafting an offensive lineman. Especially if one of these, which I feel, because there's 3 top corners that's supposed to be in this draft. There's 3 top DBs, and that's Greedy Williams out of LSU. There's DeAndre Baker out of Georgia, Byron Murphy out of Washington. Those are the guys that I normally see top 3. I mean, those top 3 guys are normally what I see in the going in the first round. I mean, you also got Julian Love from Notre Dame. You also have Trayvon Mullet from Clemson. You know how we feel about Clemson people. To me, the 2 best is definitely Baker and Greedy. I prefer Greedy, but I more than likely think that Greedy's gonna go top 5, if not top 10, if not top 5. And I've seen Baker more than likely slip into our range. But if Greedy or Baker is on the board, you have to go with them. If one of them is on the board, you have to go with one of them. You have to. You just you just got to. If one of them is on the board, that's the move that you have to make. You have to make that move. If he's on one of those 2 on the board, you have to make that move. Byron, I gotta watch some more tape. Because I'm not done watching tape on other guys. That's the reason why I haven't really done a breakdown of each guy, because I'm still waiting for some more tape to come out. And I need to do my more research on doing some more tape. I'm not feeling Byron as much as I do for Greedy and Baker. I really extremely like those 2 guys, and I think those 2 guys are legit corners. Byron, I think, can be decent, but he just it's some red flags that pop up to me in his game, and I'm like, kind of reminiscent to what we already have in Houston, and kind of things that I think could be problematic and could be situation things. It's just, I want to watch more tape, and when I do my breakdown of the guys, I'm going to elaborate more into how I feel about Byron, how I feel about Greedy, how I feel about Baker, how I feel about Trayvon and Julian when I watch more tape of these guys. And because I watched a little bit of tape, I need to watch more tape of them to get an actual good, strong feel. But just from what I've seen so far, like I say, Greedy and Baker all day. Like, I'm cool. I'm Gucci with both of them. But with this position, so to me, it's such a dire position. The reason why I think we need to fix it, you have to find a way to do something via free agency. I know a lot of people are getting hyped out there because they see Deshaun taking pictures with Ramsey at the Pro Bowl, and you know they commenting, they plotting, Ramsey holding up stuff like that. Then you see like they always together. They always find a way to compliment each other. Especially Ramsey goes out his way to compliment Deshaun. Like Ramsey goes 100% out his way to talk about Deshaun positively. As much as trash as he talked about all the other quarterbacks in the NFL, he goes out his way to talk good stuff about to talk good stuff about Deshaun, and talks good stuff about Hop. I think he truly respects them. I think him and Deshaun, they cool on and off the field. Even like last year in the offseason, they was always together. So like they real cool. I think he has the utmost respect for Hop. And I do think if Ramsey was available, it's like via free agency, he would definitely be a keen target for the Texans, and I think that he would love to be here. I think like if he was a free agent, it's like 85 to 95% that he would want to be a Texan. But because he's a Jag, and the Jags in the same division, I don't see him becoming a Texan no time soon. Because it's hard to trade. Teams don't trade in a division. They don't like to make their divisional opponents better. Now, if the Jags was in the AFC East or the NFC North or the NFC South or the NFC West, any of the other divisions, cool. Then we could get some. Because to be honest, I don't think that Ramsey and Tom Coughlin mesh well together. I think that Ramsey has already shown his frustration with that organization, with that team. And I think it's a 50-50 shot that by the time his second contract is up, like, his 4 years up and then got the 50 option, by the time let's see here, this is his 4th year coming up because he was drafted, he's played 3 seasons because he has 2 Pro Bowls, his rookie year, two Pro Bowls. Yeah, so this season coming up is his 4th season. I wouldn't be surprised if this is his last year in Jacksonville because I could definitely see him going through this 4th year. Then they tag on the 50 option on him and they move him. So I can see either this year or the next 2 years being his last year because I can see I think it's a 50-50 shot that he will get a second contract in Jacksonville. Because I think either he'll play his 4th year and they tag the 5th year option on him and they move him, or he'll go through his 4th year, they tag the 5th year. He'll play that, and then when he's a free agent, they franchise tag him, and they move him too. So I can see him getting moved within the next 2 years. I think that he would? Like I said, it's 50-50. I could definitely see him staying in Jacksonville because, I can see them offering the contract because he is the best corner. And I think talent-wise, they would want to keep him. I just don't think that him and Tom Coughlin mesh. And I think the more Jacksonville starts to suffer, the more I think Tom Coughlin will end up coming down and becoming the head coach as well. He's the president of football operations, whatever the title he got, the executive producer, wherever he is. He's not the head coach. Rome's the head coach. And Jacksonville had a bad year last year. Jacksonville had another bad year. And I can kind of see that even if they fix their quarterback position because you have Deshaun, you have Luck, you have the Titans. They have a legitimate defense. All the teams had top 10 defenses. Like Jags had number 3, Titans had number 4. We had number 5. The Colts had number 10. Like, we all had top 10 defense in the NFL. So this is not so all the defenses are legitimate defenses, and then you have 2 Pro Bowl quarterbacks, and Luck and Deshaun, and then you have the Titans with a legitimate running game. They have the best ground game in the AFC South right now. So I can see Jacksonville still being the 4th best team in this division. Now, if they get a legitimate quarterback play, they could also be a top 2 team in the division. But for the most part, I could definitely see this team being the last team in the division again. And if that's the case, I can see that Tom Coughlin comes down, boosts Dubner on out, and start making other changes. And I think that Jalen Ramsey could be on that mission of changes. I could possibly see that. I could also see him staying. But like I said, that's why I say it's a 50-50 shot. But I don't think he'll be a Texan. As long as he's playing for the Jags and the Jags in the South and the Texans in the AFC South, he ain't coming to Houston. They're not going to trade in their division. A trade that I would like to see happen is a trade to Patrick Peterson. The Cardinals are the number 1 team, number 1 pick in the draft. They just hired Cliff Kingsbury as the head coach, coming off the Big 12, coming out of Texas Tech. I'm a Red Raider, but the Texas Tech under him has had bad defenses and not a good record. He's only had 3 winning seasons in Lubbock. So I could definitely see that Patrick Peterson wanted to force his way out. He was on trading block last year. There was rumors, there was talks, but nothing really moved. And he's like, I want to stay in Arizona, blase. He had to say that. Like, this pretty much, he couldn't be out there and be like, hey, I want to get traded. Trade me now. It ain't basketball. He don't hold, basketball players hold leverage. Football players really don't. But I do think that he probably be in the deal like, hey, man, y'all got to find a way to move me. And I also think that last year during the season, because, during the season, teams are desperate because they're trying to make that playoff push. So people play a higher premium. That's why you see Amari Cooper go for you see Amari Cooper go for a first-round pick. You see Khalil Mack go for 2 first-round picks before the season starts. People are paying a premium after training camp. Now, that's why you see players like Talib and Peters going for 4th and 3rd round picks in the offseason because you pay cheaper around this time of year. So I can see, hey, if we can give up a third and a future two, because I want to keep both our 1-2. I want to keep our 1 and our 2-2s this year. So because you still need to draft a corner, and I think you draft a running back and offensive lineman. So I think you need both. You need all three of those picks, but a third round and a future second, a third and a future second, the future third. Like so, other ways if you can probably maybe throw a player here in the mix to acquire Patrick Peterson, and then still draft. And I still would draft Baker, and if Baker agrees on the field, I mean on the board, you still draft one of those two. And you tell me you're gonna walk into the season with Patrick Peterson and Greedy, or Patrick Peterson and Baker? Come on, with Honey Badger and just the reading at the safety position, and Jonathan Joseph as a third corner, which gives you the knowledge to help that young guy. That means you got Patrick Peterson and Jonathan Joseph giving out straight knowledge to this young guy, help groom this young guy along. Who wouldn't sign up for that? Who wants that? Now, I think it would be hard to get Patrick Peterson. You have to try to find a way to finagle and finesse, to be honest, finesse Arizona. But in the position that they in, I can actually see them doing it. I can see them because the Cardinals' benefit is actually to blow their team up. It really is. The Cardinals' benefit is actually to blow, like, because they gonna need some other receivers. They gonna need some type. I mean, I know they got Larry Fitzgerald. He coming back. Whoop de whoop. So they got their staple. They got their guy. They got the fan favorite. They face the franchise. You know, over the past couple years in Larry Fitzgerald. So I think that they would rather. I know from a football standpoint, yes, you want Patrick Peterson over Larry Fitzgerald, but from a fan standpoint, Larry Fitzgerald probably more fan favorite than Patrick Peterson. So I can see like they got that guy, but Larry Fitzgerald's not the same receiver, so they need to get other assets, get other pieces. So they probably need to unload some other stuff, and probably the person who they can get, the person that is the most fitting to unload, which it was conversations this past year about unloading them. That's the thing about it. They were already talking about unloading them, so it's not out the realm of possibility of him getting unloaded. It's for what, to who, and could the Texans be a buyer? Like I said, if they're talking about first round picks, I'm out. I am. Second round pick, I take it, but I'm scared because that means now you probably do need to draft offensive lineman first round, depending on how the board. Like everything all depends on how the board falls. And then I think if you spend a second round pick on Patrick Peterson, like you trade one of the twos and then a future 3 or something like that, or a future 2 for Patrick Peterson, and then they turn around and draft Baker or Greedy, a lot of people be like, y'all just got Patrick Peterson. Y'all just got Patrick Peterson. Why you draft a corner? You need 2 DBs, especially the way this defense been playing. You need 2 DBs. But I think it's a hard sell if they do that. But if you trade in the third, if you trade the third round pick and some other assets, some other third or fourth future seconds and things like that, then I think it's more acceptable. Okay, because we can still get 2 offensive linemen in the second round, or we get offensive linemen and running back in the second round, because you be putting yourself in a situation, in my opinion, because like I said, I really think you need a running back too, and I don't want to give up those 2 twos, because I think if you take a second round pick and give up and get Patrick Peterson, more than likely you're probably not drafting a corner, and you probably going to draft offensive lineman, which I guess it's cool, especially if you can move back in the first round, because that's something else that we talked about, them moving back and jumping back in the second round. I mean, the first round, moving back to the Eagles pick, or moving back to the Chargers pick, and then picking up an additional second round pick. That way, you got 3 picks in the second round, and you still drafted in the top 25 of the first round. So you still Gucci. You just drop back 2-3 spots. Pick up, you still might be able to get the player you want, or at least get a guy that you not quote unquote reaching for, and you pick up an additional third round pick. I mean, an additional second round pick. Now you got 3 second round picks to play with. You can jump up and get other stuff and do other assets and things like that. So All those things are on the realm of possibility. Who knows? You could probably jump back, get 2 second round picks, then you use that second round pick, trade, and get past Peterson. Who knows? All these things are on the table. But I think these are things that you have to fix via free agency and via the draft. And I think that the corner is the one that you need to target the most. Like, share, subscribe if you haven't. Comment below if you haven't. Click that bell, get more videos. Continue to get your boy up to that 4,000. Now holla.